Hello friends and welcome to a new happy learning video. Today we're going to learn about the wettest animals on the planet. Presenting the fish. In almost all the places where you can find water, be it either salt water or fresh water, you can also find fish. There are fish of all sorts of sizes, shapes and colors, and yet they all have common characteristics, which you should know. Fish are vertebrates. Their skeleton is made up of bones or cartilage. They are also cold-blooded. Their temperature is not constant, meaning it depends on the water temperature. This fish looks really cold. All fish have extremities in the form of fins, as you can see in this image. Dorsal fins, caudal fins, which is the tail, pectoral fins, pelvic fins, and anal fin. Another really important fact that one must remember is that almost all fish are covered in scales. The gills are the fish's respiratory organ. The respiration process is very interesting. Water enters through the mouth and goes to the gills. The gills then collect the oxygen and distribute it to the rest of the body through the blood vessels. Then the water is expelled through an opening which can be found in the majority of the fish behind their head, which is called the gill flap. Fish reproduce by laying eggs. Therefore, they are oviparous, and their fertilization can be either external or internal. Some fish are excellent fathers, like this one who protects his babies inside his mouth. He looks as if he's going to eat them, but he's actually protecting them. Look at that! Isn't it amazing? Almost all fish are carnivores, eating other fish smaller than themselves, and therefore they each have different ways of defending themselves. The most common action to take is when feeling threatened is to escape as fast as possible, as in to swim away rapidly. But there are other ways of defending themselves that are much more original. For example, this clownfish finds hiding himself among these venomous enemies. Others imitate or camouflage themselves with their background by obtaining the color and shape of the plants and rocks around them. Can you see this fish in the image? Oh, well, there was indeed a fish, and a very hungry one. Look at this. This is the largest fish in the world, the whale shark. Even though it is called a whale shark, you must remember it is actually a shark, not a whale. Whales are not fish. They are aquatic animals, like these friendly dolphins. So never forget, whales and dolphins are not fish, but mammals. Now I have a very important fact you must always remember. It's extremely important. As you already know, fish, as well as many other animals, live in the water. Water is essential for life. And for this reason, we must look after it. We must protect it. There are people who dirty nature by throwing rubbish into the rivers and oceans without thinking about their terrible consequences they're causing. Plastics and substances which contaminate the water kill a huge amount of fish. Turtles, dolphins, whales, sharks, and many more die every day because of contamination. Water is a source of life. We must take care of it and protect it. So now you know, look after nature and all living things, and they can live happily.
The first thing we should know about sharks is that they are fish, and like all fish, they have gills that allow them to breathe underwater. The body of the fish is covered with scales, and in the case of the sharks, their scales are so hard and rough that in older times their skin was used as sandpaper. There are so many types of sharks, almost 400. Some are as small as 15 centimeters. They're as small as a mobile phone. And others, such as the whale shark, can reach up to 14 meters long. They are longer than many of the lorries that can be seen on the roads. There are also sharks with somewhat bizarre bodies, like these hammerhead sharks. Sharks are carnivores and are characterized by being very good hunters. They use their excellent sense of smell and their strong jaws full of razor-sharp and pointed teeth to hunt. Because they use them so much, their teeth tend to fall out very easily. But it's not a problem for them because they grow back very easily. During their lifetime, they can have as many as 30,000 teeth. That's just incredible! Another interesting fact about sharks is that they can go without eating for 6 weeks, roughly a month and a half. That's why sometimes they are so hungry. Sharks are cartilaginous fish, which means their skeleton is made of cartilage instead of bone. The most famous of all sharks is undoubtedly the great white shark. The great white lives in warm waters and can weigh from 700 up to 1,100 kilos. Its body is large and robust. It's a little scary, isn't it? The whale shark is the largest of all, not only of the shark family, but also of all the fish that live in the sea. It weighs 20 tons, around 20,000 kilos. It also has a high life expectancy, living between 70 and 100 years. Well, that's if we let them live in peace. Did you know that sharks are in serious danger of extinction? There are many species of sharks that are on the brink of extinction, and that puts all the oceans of the planet at risk. In order to be healthy, the oceans and seas need to have enough sharks to maintain the balance of populations between different species. Without this balance, we don't know what will happen, but nothing good, that's for sure. That's why we have to take care of them. We mustn't throw garbage and plastics into the sea, and we have to always protect nature, picking up anything that can harm it. Because if we defend nature, we defend all life and living beings, including ourselves. Well, you have already learned some important things about these wonderful fish, the sharks. Aren't they just fascinating animals?
Did you know that the biggest shark that has ever existed was the Megalodon? This gigantic beast had a length of 20 meters and weighed 20 tons. The Megalodon lived nearly 20 million years ago and disappeared 2 million years ago. It is considered as one of the most powerful predators of history of the vertebrates. And their favorite prey were sea mammals, such as whales, the dolphins. It is a shame that the Megalodon has disappeared, but to be honest, it would have been really scary. By the way, did you know that its name originated from Latin and it means big tooth? Did you know that sharks can have thousands and thousands of teeth in their lifetime? Sharks have their denture distributed in layers. When a tooth breaks, immediately it is replaced by the layers above. In general, sharks have between 5 and 15 lines of teeth, although the first line is the most important, and it is what they usually eat their prey with. Many scientists have assured us that sharks can have up to 30 million teeth during their lifetime. Did you know that sharks don't stop swimming, not even for when they need to sleep? This is because of two reasons. The first is because of their breathing. Whilst sharks swim, they maintain their mouth open. This way, the water that contains a lot of oxygen passes through their gills and absorbs the oxygen to be able to breathe. The second reason is that, differently from all fish, sharks don't have a swimming bladder, a kind of internal float that fills with air and allows them to float even though they are still. It sounds weird, but it is true. If a shark stops swimming, it will fall to the bottom of the ocean and drown. Although, the sleeping fish is always eaten by the shark.
Do you know what the difference is between seas and oceans? The most important difference between seas and oceans is that seas are a lot smaller and they belong to the oceans. Actually, they are part of them. The seas are the part of the oceans which are closest to land. We all know that on our planet we have 5 oceans: Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Arctic, and Antarctic. But do you know how many seas there are? Well, there are 57. And the largest are the Arabian Sea, the South China Sea, Caribbean Sea, Mediterranean Sea, and the Bering Sea. Did you know that at the bottom of the sea there are volcanoes and large plains? Although a lot of people think that the bottom of the sea is flat, it's not true. Actually, the bottom of the sea is like land. It has mountains, volcanoes, caves, great plains, and even waterfalls. It's so deep and big that although it may seem incredible, there are many places where humans have not yet reached. Actually, 95% of the sea remains unexplored. There's so much to discover. Do you know that the Everest isn't the largest mountain in the world? Well, no. The largest mountain on Earth is in the sea, and it's called Mauna Kea. This inactive volcano, located in a Hawaiian island, measures from the surface to its tip 4,207 meters. But if we measure it from its base, which is at the bottom of the ocean, it measures 10,000 meters high. And if we compare this to 8,848 meters of the Everest, they turn the Mauna Kea into the largest mountain in the world. What is true is that the Everest is the highest point on Earth. What do you think we know more about? Planet Mars or the oceans? Well, although it may seem incredible, we know Mars's surface more and better than the bottom of the sea. Human beings know very little about species which habitat the oceans, and there are still many to be discovered. It's probable that most of these species are very small organisms, but scientists believe that there are still fish and mammals which have not been discovered yet. Each year, we discover a mean of 2,000 new species. Did you know that the sea is the biggest rubbish dump in the universe? Yes, sadly, the sea has been used for a long time as a dump. Without realizing, oceans are the lungs of our planet. More than 50% of the air we breathe is produced at sea. The Mediterranean Sea is the most contaminated in the world. But sadly, most oceans are at an alarming stage. Plastics, pesticides, chemical substances, oil, all affect the sea's health and living things within it. More than 100,000 marine animals, like penguins, whales, dolphins, turtles, fish, and birds die every year only because of the plastic in the sea. Please respect and take care of nature. Don't throw rubbish to the sea or rivers, and always recycle. If we take care of the water, if we take care of the sea, we will make all living things live in a better world, cleaner and happier.
Hey happy friends, are you ready to learn? I'm Sarah, and today we're going to learn about the largest shark ever to exist. Today we're going to meet the Megalodon, the whale-eating shark. The Megalodon was a giant shark that lived within the Earth's seas. It became extinct over 2.5 million years ago, but investigators still don't know why. We have a lot to discover about the Megalodon. This gigantic shark measured 20 meters long and weighed up to 50 tons. That's 50,000 kilos. Megalodons would primarily feed from whales, turtles, and smaller sharks. It's used to catch its prey with its humongous mouth. It had 280 sharpened and gigantic teeth. Apart from being the largest fish that has ever existed, remember that sharks are fish. We also know that they could live up to 100 years. We know this thanks to the fossils that have been found. Although there are some people that think that the Megalodon still exists, investigators completely deny this. Also, they are sure that they were extinct over 2 million years ago. The closest living relative to the Megalodon is a white shark. This shark is also a great hunter. It can reach 7 meters long and weigh 3,000 kilos. Looking at the white shark up close and knowing that the Megalodon was much bigger than this, we can just imagine how scary it was. Goodbye, happy friends. See you next time. I hope you're always ready to learn. Goodbye.